Well, ask me questions. I mean, I'll
I mean,
tell you.
my first one is what got you into the brainwash game? Because your website is Mind Control Publishing. Is it mindcontrolpublishing.com?
Right, right.
So how do you okay? So what's the tactics? What do you do? What got you into the brainwash game exactly?
Well, it started. You're 10 years old. You go to the Twin Falls County Fair in Filer, Idaho, with your parents, and you watch The Hypnotist.
Oh, and then
And you see this guy with all this magical power, and you think, "Oh my God, I want to be this person." So that's
Your
planted
first
a seed. Yeah.
Now, I have a big question about this because I saw somebody on a Clubhouse room. His name is Marcel Klein, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a hypnotist, and we were talking to him because he was charging someone $300,000 to do some kind of hypnosis thing, and the lady was suicidal. She had suicidal ideation. And he goes, instead of going to a therapist, he's like, "Hey, come to me."
Yeah.
And he's charging her these exorbitant rates. Where do you think the line is ethically with sort of the hypnotism game?
Well, I mean, hypnosis is not really regulated.
Yeah.
I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist. I just have been doing this for like 20 years.
Yeah.
But, what I do is, my idea is to help somebody. My job is just to solve a problem they have. They want to do something they should know they should be able to do, like quit smoking, or change a habit, or quit biting their nails, or feel a little more comfort when they feel anxiety. And as long as it's goal oriented in that context, I can help them. If they're coming to me with suicidal ideations, and I mean, that's not my responsibility. I will help them as much as I can, but I think what you just described is horrendous and unethical.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
If she's suicidal, it's bad. Normally, I'd say, hey, if you can talk someone into 300,000, we're doing some hypnosis.
It's actually pretty funny because I was like, it changes the game of like what selling somebody is if you're a hypnotist, because you're like, you will give me whatever. I guess that's the popular idea of hypnosis. What is? I don't know. I mean, this seems like a really weird gray area of persuasion. Hypnosis, like you said, it's unregulated.
And it's unregulated, but it's getting credibility because of the psychedelic community. Because the psychedelic community now, they're doing these guided ayahuasca trips. So I feel like this has been some good branding for you guys.
It's not my deal. It's not my deal.
No. You don't do any kind of guided trips. You only do strictly sober.
No, I mean, I have a couple different streams of income. One is I help people, solve problems. And the other is I have written some books about persuasion and influence and mind control and neurolinguistic programming. And that is a little bit more, that's a slightly different area in that that's much more conversational, I guess is a way of saying it.
Is NLP
This
real?
is where persuasion comes in. NLP, is it real?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's real. All NLP really is, when someone asks me, it's a way of understanding how people internally represent reality for them. What that allows a person to do. Once I understand how you represent reality, it gives me a little bit of an in to how to change it and manipulate it.
Yeah, because Tony Robbins is a big fan of NLP. A lot of these guys are huge NLP guys.
Yeah.
And then I've heard people like Grant Cardone taking a dump on NLP, saying it's all crazy, whatever, which is a little bit ironic because he's into the Scientology game. But anyway.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Well, it's sort of hard to describe. NLP is a lot of different things, but it's really understanding how someone represents their own reality. And you basically ask questions to them to sort of get a good understanding.
Yeah.
And once you understand that, it is somewhat easier to influence them. So it does have some power, it does have some control, and it can be It can be misused. Way back when, before I finally found the person I wanted to stay married to, I used a lot of NLP to meet women and
Wait a
things like
minute.
that.
Pickup
Yes.
artist? You doing pickup art? You were in the pickup game in the 80s.
Yeah, remember Ross Jeffries?
I've heard Ross Jeffries. Yeah, Speed
Yeah.
Seduction.
Yeah. He
One of the
was
first psychos in the game, eh? Real pioneer. He's like the first guy, I think. Ross Jeffries the first guy to do it, isn't he?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Wow. Because I guess you needed a sexual revolution for a guy to be like, hey, I'm just having sex with people. And the guy is, the first videos I saw of him, he's like 45, 50.
Yeah.
And he'd come in with 2 20-year-olds and be like, come on, sweetheart. And like, they'd just be on one on each side. And a bunch of like, you're probably like 20 years old at the time. You're like, I'm taking notes, I guess.
Oh yeah. I thought it was like the great information there.
I've been saying this for a while. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I was gonna say I've been saying this for a while. It's like whether you have the cult, the sales team, or the whatever, the religious institution, the curriculum seems to all be the same, and it seems like NLP is this fundamental kind of technique of rewriting how someone thinks. Is that accurate?
The thing that is slightly even beyond NLP. NLP is a set of techniques that can be very influential and persuasive. The thing that goes beyond that is if you are able to present yourself as an authority, people are just going to follow you. And you can say, as you know, you can say all sorts of crap.
Yeah.
And people are going to believe it. There's someone
you saying that as you know to me? Was that as you know to me? Or was that you're saying you're saying they do it to us? I got you.
Yeah, you've witnessed this with
we witnessed. Yeah,
covered.
Okay, cool.
Someone you might want to cover is a fellow named Marshall Silver. He's a hypnotist who does the Las Vegas show, and I was invited once to teach my influence and persuasion skills to his group of people. Mm-hmm. He did this thing that blew me away. He put up for auction a $100 bill. Now, how much would you guess a $100 bill?
$100 at most.
Keep going.
$200.
Okay.
Keep going.
$300.
$5,000.
Of course.
And did he hypnotize people into doing this? Did he trick them?
They were already in his influence.
That is the thing, though. I do feel like people are looking for more of a magic. But if you think about it, all storytelling, I actually call it spiritual consulting. It's storytelling, religion, sales, whatever. It is all systems of changing someone's mind and getting them to believe in whatever your thing is. And so one of the techniques, is like when you set up an auction, it's kind of like, dude, it's like this guy. Who's the guy that's like so famous right now? Mr. Beast. It's like Mr. Beast.
Yeah. He
throws a gambit out for a game, and just if the gambit's tight, the people will play. And I think auction's one of those tight little gambits where people are like just caught up in the game of it, and they realize they've gone to $5,000 to buy
understand, it started off, this $100 bill was auctioned off for starting at 25 cents. And by the time it actually reached its face value of $100, there was momentum and people were involved, and he was encouraging it, and they were his followers.
Yeah.
So they were much more following him than actually using their rational mind. He also told a story having done this, and a $100 bill got auctioned off for $50,000. That's when he stopped the auction. And the fellow who won, of course, got a divorce because of his decision-making skills.
Good decision on that.
That's not real, right? That's not real.
Good decision.
Right. No, it is real. And
no, 5,000 can do it. It's like
he was able. Man. Yeah, he managed to reframe this mental change of this purchase of a $100 bill for $50,000. He managed to reframe it
50?
as a win.
50 or 5?
I thought it was 5.
Well, 5 was the one I witnessed, but apparently the story goes had closed an auction at $50,000.
Right. That was his greatest hit.
That guy's a money printer. He's a money printer with this thing. Yeah, that's kind of weird. I mean, if you think that's a scam, though, you should go check out NFTs. You know about these NFTs?
Yeah. I don't know what to think about that. That's
Well,
crazy.
the psychology is baked into into a lot of the stuff scams that we talk about. I'd say, like
Yeah.
the psychology of it, which is it's just a classic sales tactic to be like, hey, you're gonna miss out. I just saw a guy. He just advertised to me like, we have a cure for COVID, and now's the time when the stock market will yield the profits.
Yeah,
You have to
yeah.
buy it now. So it is like a classic sales tactic. This guy's just doing it in person. They're already calling him Babaji. So he's just like, I got this.
God.
I'm a scammer. I'm a scammer. Gonna rip you off, take you down.